In the last class we discussed about the rigid body dynamic. In the theorems of rigid body dynamics, that is moment of inertia theorem, perpendicular theorem and parallel axis theorem. In perpendicular theorem we discussed the plane moment of inertia for plane body and the moment of inertia for two dimensional Cartesian coordinate system and also parallel axis theorem. After that we discussed that what will be the moment of inertia of the thin rod. In today's class let us discuss what will be the moment of inertia of rectangular rigid body dynamics. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the moment of inertia of rectangular body. So in this moment of inertia of rectangular body, we are going to discuss about when the axis is perpendicular to the plane, that is axis is perpendicular to the length or breadth and also in passes through its center. Its center. So what will be the moment of inertia of the rectangular body when the axis passes through on its center and also axis is perpendicular to the length or perpendicular to the breadth or perpendicular to the axis. Okay. So we know that the rectangular rigid body means it will consisting of length and breadth. Imagine this will be our rectangular rigid body, that is A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D is our rectangular rigid body. So axis passes through a center means this is our y dash axis. This is always passes through a center. Passes through a center means it will makes the rigid body into two equal parts. But that means if the rigid body having the length L means the distance from here to here will be L by 2 and here to here will be L by 2. And also the rigid rectangular body having the breadth B, and this is our x dash axis. So this is our rectangular body ABCD, y dash and x dash are the axis. Y dash passes through its center perpendicular to the length. This is our length. This is perpendicular to the length and makes the length into makes the body into two equal part. The length of that equal part will be L by 2 and L by 2. So rectangular rigid body means having the mass M. The mass of the rigid body or a rectangular body will be equal to M, and also the length. This body will be L, and what is the area of rectangle? Area of the rectangle is nothing but it will be L into B, that means length into breadth, that will be LB. So we know the mass. What will be the mass per area? Mass per area of rectangular body will be mass per area will be LB. This is mass per area. So the length will be L, it makes two parts of length L by 2 and L by 2. So next we have to consider a small area on a rectangle. This is our small area on rectangle having the length dx. The length of the small area will be dx from y axis x distance. So that what will be the area of that small element So area of that small element will be, so area, the length, the small distance of dx, that will be along the y axis. Y axis is nothing but breadth b dx. This is our area of the small element. Next we have to consider moment of inertia of that small element. The moment of, before going to the moment of inertia, mass of that area will be equal to mlb into b dx. Here bb get cancelled, we left with ml dx. Okay, this is the a mass of that small element. So next we have to consider the moment of inertia. So moment of inertia of that small body will be equal to ml x square into dx. This is our moment of inertia of this small area. So now we need the total moment of inertia of whole rectangular body. We know that if you want to get a total moment of inertia, we have to integrate the moment of inertia of small body. Let us integrate this equation. So moment of inertia or inertia will be given by integral of 0 to L by 2. So 0 to L by 2 means here we considering the two parts of length L by 2 and L by 2. It makes two equal parts of a body, 2 m L x square and dx. So 2m will be constant, 2m by L will be constant. So 0 to L by 2 x square dx. So 2m L x power 3 divided by 3, 0 to L by 2. If you integrate x square, x cube divided by 3. Next apply the limit. 1 by 3 is constant. So x cube L by 3 L by 2 whole cube. So if you simplify this, 2m by L 1 by 3 L cube by 8. So 2m by L, so L cube by 8 3s are 'So if you simplify this, so this is the total moment of inertia of whole rectangular body when you consider the axis passes through its center and perpendicular to the length. So here we considering the perpendicular to the length. Next question is, when you consider the axis perpendicular to the breadth. Perpendicular to the breadth is nothing but the body along this. Here we have to consider the small area here, and we have to calculate what will be the moment of inertia of this body and total moment of inertia when you consider the body perpendicular to the breadth. Here axis will be perpendicular means x dash axis. We have to consider the x dash axis. The axis perpendicular to the length means we have to consider y dash axis. So if they ask find the moment of inertia of the rectangular body, the axis passes through a center and perpendicular to the x dash axis or perpendicular to the breadth means, so the total moment of inertia along the breadth will be mb square divided by 12. So this will be the moment of inertia when you consider the axis perpendicular to the length, and this is the moment of inertia when you consider axis perpendicular to the breadth. So this is all about when you consider axis passes through a center and perpendicular to the length and perpendicular to the breadth. Next will be, so only the axis passes through a rectangular body. It may not be exactly the center. It will be somewhere in a rectangular body, not exactly in the center. Let us derive what will be the total moment of inertia of that rectangular body. So next will be the moment of inertia of the rectangular body when it passes through a rectangular body and perpendicular to axis. That means here also we have to consider the rectangular body ABCD. This is our rectangular body ABCD and having the axis, two axis x, x dash and y, y dash and a length L and the breadth B. Okay. So here the y dash is not exactly on the center. That means it does not make or divide the whole rectangular body into two equal parts, but it is on the axis perpendicular to the length. It is not exactly at the center. Here what will be the moment of inertia of that body? That means if you consider the rectangular body, the axis passes through that rectangular body, not exactly at the center. So here also the rectangular body having the mass m, length L, breadth B and two axes x, x dash and y, y dash. So y dash is not exactly the center. Okay. So here also we have to consider the small element of area, a small element or small part of length dx from the axis or the distance x. So we know that the theorem of perpendicular axis theorem. So for a plane, so perpendicular axis theorem So we know the perpendicular axis theorem, two theorems, one is for two-dimensional, another one is for plane. Here I will consider the perpendicular axis theorem for a plane, that is x will be equal to Ix plus Iy. That means the moment of inertia of a body, the moment of inertia that should be perpendicular to the body, that should be equal to the sum of the moment of inertia which are mutually perpendicular to each other. That means here the will be Ix, here Iy. If we consider this axis, this is Iz along the z axis. So here I considering the perpendicular axis theorem, that is Iz will be equal to the moment of inertia which is perpendicular to the axis, that should be equal to the sum of the moment of inertia of two mutually perpendicular each other. So if we consider this is y axis, means these two will be the total moment of inertia will be Ix and Iz. If you consider this is mutually perpendicular, means Iy plus Ix. So in the last derivation we come across along the breadth and along the length. So moment of inertia of rectangular body along length will be equal to, moment of inertia will be equal to m along the length, means m L square divided by 12. So along the B, along the breadth will be, moment of inertia will be given by m B square divided by 12. So that means if you consider the moment of inertia along this axis, along y dash axis, means this is our y dash axis. Here we consider perpendicular to y dash axis, perpendicular to x dash axis. So that will be the moment of inertia. So by considering the perpendicular axis theorem, by just substitute that value, so along the length will be x, along the y, this is y and this is x. So from the theorem, Iz will be equal to Ix plus Iy, or I will be equal to Ix plus Iy. So I will be equal to m L square divided by 12 plus m B square divided by 12. So by taking m divided by 12 as a common, L square plus B square is our moment of inertia of a rectangular body when the axis perpendicular to that length or a breadth. So we know that the radius of gyration, so radius of gyration will be given by I will be equal to m k square. So if we consider this is equation 1 and this is equation 2, by comparing equation 1 and 2, that means so k value will be equal to, so L square plus B square 12. So k will be equal to root of L square plus B square by 12. This is the radius of gyration when you consider the rectangular body when it passes through an axis perpendicular to the axis, not exactly at the center. For this we have to consider the perpendicular axis theorem. By substituting the Ix and Iy value for that theorem, we get a total moment of inertia. Total moment of inertia will be m divided by 12 into L square plus B square. Then the radius of gyration or inertial radius of gyration will be given by I, it will be equal to m k square. By comparing two equation, k will be equal to root of L square plus L square divided by 12 plus B square divided by 12. This is our radius of gyration. So this is all about when you consider the rectangular body, it passes through an axis perpendicular to the axis. First will be exactly passes through the center, second one will be only perpendicular to the axis. So next one will be the what will be the moment of inertia of circular body. So for this we have to consider the circular body. So this is our circular body. This is center O. So firstly we have to consider the axis exactly passes through its center. So that means the axis will be exactly passes through its center. So consider a circular disc or a circular body having the mass m. Mass of this circular body will be m and the radius will be r, and exactly the axis passes through its center, and the area of circular disc will be given by pi r square. So now we have to consider the small circular disc or a small circular area on circular disc having the mass m. This is our circular disc having the thickness dx and the radius will be, thickness of that will be dx and radius of that will be x. So next, the area of that small element, area of that small circular disc or circular ring. So what will be the area of this small circular ring on a circular disc? That should be given by length into thickness. Length into thickness. So always that should be given by 2 pi x into thickness will be dx. Length will be 2 pi x and the thickness will be dx. This is the area of the small circular ring. Next we have to find out what will be the moment of inertia of that small ring. So moment of inertia of that ring will be given by, so area will be pi r square. So mass per area will be given by m by pi r square. So moment of inertia of that small body will be given by m pi r square into 2 pi x dx. So here moment of inertia of that will be x square. By simplifying this, pi get cancelled, we left with 2 m x into x square x cube divided by r square into dx. This is the moment of inertia of a small ring, circular ring. We know that the circular body will be consisting of number of circular discs. So that this will be the small moment of inertia of the one circular ring. We need a total moment of inertia of the circular body. Just integrate this moment of inertia of the small ring or a one single ring. From the limit 0 to r, we get a total moment of inertia of a circular ring. So total moment of inertia will be given by, so 0 to r 2 m x cube divided by r square into dx. So 2m r square is a common, we left with x cube 0 to r dx. So 2m by r square, so x power 4 divided by 4 from the limit 0 to r. So here we have to consider the total moment of inertia. So this is the single moment of inertia, and now we have to add the normal moment of inertia of that body. So we get 2m r square 1 by 4, so r power 4. So we get 2m by r square r power 4 divided by 4, r square get cancelled, we left with 2m r square divided by 4, 2 ones are 2 twos are m r square divided by 2. So this will be the moment of inertia of the total circular ring. When you by considering the single ring, we have to find out the total moment of inertia of that ring. Next one will be, here we considering only the part, that is only the radius. Now what will be the moment of inertia when you considering the diameter or along the diameter? That means from here to pole, what will be the moment of inertia? So normally we know that the moment of inertia when you considering the radius, that is m r square divided by 2. So now along the diameter, so moment of inertia along the diameter, that means if you consider the circular ring, imagine this will be our circular ring, So along the radius means like this, along the diameter means here we have to consider the circular ring like this. Along the diameter, what will be the moment of inertia? So normally we know that the radius, here this is our radius, okay, this is our whole diameter. So this is radius and this is whole will be the diameter. So radius, diameter is nothing but 2 of the radius. So here observing that the diameter means the 2 of the radius. That means the moment of inertia of the whole will be given by, so I1 plus I2, that should be equal to the, so here 2I will be equal to mr square divided by 2. 4I will be equal to mr square. I will be equal to mr square divided by 4. So this is the moment of inertia when you consider the axis along the diameter. So this is the moment of inertia when you consider the axis along the radius. So here diameter is nothing but 2 of the radius. Radius 1 plus radius 2 will give the diameter. So that I1 plus I2 will be mr square 2, that is 2I will be mr square divided by 2, 4I will be equal to mr square divided by, I will be equal to mr square divided by 4. So next will be, if you consider the tangent, that means this is our circular ring, the axis, one axis will be passes along the tangent. So this is, we know that circular ring means having the radius r. So here in the last class we know, we studied that when the two axes are parallel to each other, we have to apply the parallel axis theorem. So parallel axis theorem, so this is third part, this is second part. So parallel axis theorem gives that the moment of inertia of the body will be equal to the sum of the moment of inertia when it is passes through the center plus the product of moment of inertia, product of mass and the square of the distance between two parallel axes. In that theorem we consider that this length will be x, but here this length will be r square. So we know that the moment of inertia when it is passes through the center, that is m r square divided by 4 plus m r square. So m r square, so take the LCM 4 m r square plus 4 m r square. So this will give 5m r square divided by 4. This is the moment of inertia when the axis passes through a tangent, that are when the two axes are parallel to each other. Here we considering the distance from two axes x dash and y dash will be r. In that theorem we consider this distance will be x. So from using the parallel axis theorem, by substituting the parallel axis theorem states that moment of inertia will be equal to the sum of the moment of inertia, axis passes through the center of mass and product of mass and the distance square of the distance between two parallel axes. By substituting all the values we get that the moment of inertia when the axis passes through a tangent will be 5m r square divided by 4. So from all these we can conclude that the moment of inertia of radius will be m r square divided by 2 when it is passes through on radius. So similarly the moment of inertia of circular ring when it is passes through a diameter, that is m r square divided by 4. So when it is passes through a tangent, the moment of inertia will be 5m r square divided by 4. So these three formula for circular disc and the moment of inertia along the rectangular body, that is mb square divided by 12, and moment of inertia will be I ml square divided by 12. These two for a rectangular body. So in last class and today's class we discussed what will be the moment of inertia of thin rod, moment of inertia of circular rod, and the moment of inertia of the rectangular body. Next we have to consider what will be the moment of inertia of the cylindrical body. Next one will be the moment of inertia of cylindrical body. So for this, firstly we have to consider the cylindrical body. So this is our cylindrical body. So normally we know that the cylinder is nothing but number of circular disc are one by one. That means if you consider this is our circular disc, again place a circular disc on first circular disc, again place the number of circular disc one by one, we get a cylindrical body. This is our cylindrical body having the axis x, x dash and y dash. Firstly we have to consider the cylindrical body first case, that is axis exactly passes to the center. First case, in the first case axis passes through the center and perpendicular to the length. So this is our length. So normally we know that when the axis passes exactly to the center, it will makes the body into two equal part, that is having the length, equal length L by 2 and L by 2, and the radius of this body will be R. Firstly I told that the cylinder is nothing but number of circular discs are placed one by one, that means having the radius R. So mass of the cylinder will be m and the length will be L and the radius will be R. So now we have to consider the small circular disc or circular area or a small part on a cylinder having the thickness dx, that should be from x. Okay, this is the small circular disc on a cylinder. Okay, so area of that will be, we know that the area of that will be pi r square. So moment of inertia of that will be equal to two parts, sum of the two by considering along the perpendicular and moment of inertia of normal moment of inertia. By summing that two, we get a total moment of inertia of the whole cylinder. So moment of inertia, so mass per length will be given by m L. So moment of inertia along the diameter will be given by m L. Along the diameter means r square divided by 4 dx. So moment of inertia, normal moment of inertia will be given by m L x square dx. By adding these two, or the total moment of inertia will be given by m L r square divided by 4 dx plus m by L x square dx. we need a total moment of inertia. So, total moment of inertia will be given by integral of 0 to L by 2. Here we considering the two parts. So, 2 will be the constant value 2. So, m r square divided by 4L dx plus m L x square dx. So, by taking common, so 2m L is a common. So, integral of 0 to r, we left with r square is a, so r square divided by 4, so and dx plus x square dx. By integrating this equation, we get 2m by L. So, r square divided by 4 is a common. So, dx is nothing but x. So, 0 to r, from the limit 0 to r, plus x cube divided by 3 from the limit 0 to r. So, by applying the limit, we get 2m by L r square divided by 4 into r plus 1 by 3 is a common, x cube is nothing but r cube. By simplifying this, 2m by L r cube by 4 plus r cube by 3. So, 2m. So, by applying the limit, we get 2m by L r square divided by 4. So, x L by 2, that is L by 2, plus 1 by 3 is the common, L by 2 power 3. By simplifying this, 2m by L, so we get r square L divided by 4 2s are 8 plus 1 by 3 L cube divided by 8. So, 2m by L, so L r square divided by 8 plus L cube, 8 3s are 24. So, L, 1 L get cancelled, L and L square, we left with 2m r square divided by 8 plus L square divided by 24. Again, if you need simplify this, 2 1s are 2 4s are 2 12s are. M r square divided by 4 plus L square divided by 12. This is the moment of inertia when you consider the cylindrical rigid body. So, m r square by 4 plus L square divided by 12. This is the moment of inertia when you consider the cylindrical body. Next one will be, again if you consider the same cylindrical body when the axis exactly passes through its center. So, when the axis will be passes through its center means, so we already told that the cylinder will be made with a circular disc, number of circular disc. So, that the area or moment of inertia of that cylinder when the axis exactly passes through its center or perpendicular to the axis, that will be same as the moment of inertia of the circular disc when it is passes through its center. So, that means here we have to consider the circular disc. So, this is I will write here. For the second case, this is our circular disc. When it is passes along the diameter means, so the moment of inertia will be given by same as the radius mr square divided by 12, same as the circular disc. We no need to derive that derivation when it is passes along the radius or along the diameter, the same as the circular disc. Only we have to derive when the axis exactly passes through its center and perpendicular to the length. For that we have to consider two moment of inertia, the moment of inertia of the small body and the moment of inertia when we consider passes along the diameter. This is two moment of inertia. By adding the two we get the moment of inertia of the small part of the cylindrical body. We need a total moment of inertia of the cylindrical body. By integrating from the limit 0 to L by 2, we get a total moment of inertia of that cylindrical body. So, this is all about the moment of inertia of the bodies. So, firstly we discussed that the moment of inertia of the thin rod, and secondly we discussed the moment of inertia of the rectangular body and circular body and also the cylindrical body. So, these are all the moment of inertia of the, this is the moment of inertia of the cylindrical bodies, these two, and these three are the moment of inertia of the circular body, and this will be the moment of inertia of the cylindrical bodies formulas. So, this will be helpful in finding the values or solving the problems related to this rigid body dynamics. So, in the next class we have to discuss what will be the compound pendulum theory and also remaining part of this rigid body dynamics and also some problems related to this moment of inertia. Thank you.